I'm Amanda Haas, and I'm an ambassador for Whole Foods Market, and I'm so happy to be your host this whole weekend at this beautiful culinary stage at Feast It Forward. And this one I am particularly excited about because I got to see the film, and I am so happy to introduce you to Eric Wolfinger, the filmmaker. Eric, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We get to watch the trailer before we start cooking, so let's take a look at your beautiful work.
別にその昆布やカツオが人の目に触れることがなくて、で必ずどこかに、つつましやかに存在していて、でそれを、感じた瞬間に物静かな大きな力に会いに行くっていう旅をしたくなったわけです。
Oh, so beautiful. I can't wait to share more about this film with you. And to start us off, I'd like to introduce you to the chef that's featured in the film, Namae-san. Could you please come out? Thank you.
All right.
Does he hear us? We have to clap louder.
There he is.
Welcome, chef.
Thank you.
For those of you who have not seen the film, I know it's showing. Is it showing again this weekend?
It's showing this evening at Charles Krug.
Amazing. He is. We are so blessed to have a 2 Michelin-starred chef here from Tokyo. The story of your film is absolutely beautiful, and the cooking behind it. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we tell your story and cook with you, I'm so happy to have Caley Shoemaker here too, who is the head distiller for Hangar One here in Alameda. So we're going to be combining these two beautiful ideas together to make some really delicious food and drink today. So hi, Caley. Thanks for being here with the dirty martini option that's happening here. I think we're missing ours on the stage, though.
I need it.
I'll move you two over here to start doing the cooking. And Chef, I would love to hear a little bit more about Dashi. And for those of you who haven't seen the film, the thing I thought was so interesting is being French trained as a chef as well. We talk about these foundations of cooking, and you said Dashi, as you went back to Tokyo, has become that foundation for you. It's like the silent hero of all of your food.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And so the story, which appealed to Eric as well, of how it's made and where you go to source these two ingredients are magical.
Right.
Pretty amazing. And Eric, so how did you two meet and how did you decide to bring this story to life?
Well, Namae-san and I met. I was working. I'm a photographer by trade. I photograph cookbooks, and I was involved in an amazing project photographing sort of a clay pot cooking all throughout Japan.
Wow.
And Namae's good friend Kyle Connaughton wanted to not only share sort of home cooked clay pot recipes, but also clay pot recipes from a professional perspective.
Okay.
So we went to L'Effervescence in Tokyo. There are just certain people who you have an immediate connection with.
And that was this.
And that was this fellow right here. I call him my brother from a Japanese mother.
Thank you. Now we've got our dirty martinis while we're talking as well.
Okay,
So you met and you hit it off immediately.
So we hit it off immediately, and I think, the two of us were always kind of longing to do a project together.
Yeah.
And, my métier is cookbooks, and that sort of seemed like a natural fit, but at some point Namae-san called me and said, Eric, I want to travel to travel in search of the origins of Dashi. And I was like,
wow.
What's Dashi again?
Yeah, what is that?
And I didn't really understand the significance of Dashi or sort of the poetic nature of the journey that he proposed. But But of course I said yes.
Why not? Let's go.
And what ended up happening is we traveled to the ends of Japan, to the northernmost...
literally the most northern point.
The northernmost island in Japan. Next stop, Siberia. Swear to God.
Wow. For the kombu.
To harvest the seaweed, the kombu. Exactly. And then we flew to the southernmost island, the opposite extremes of Japan.
Yep.
Where and Namae will get into it a little bit more, where we met the artisans who make katsuobushi, and these two elements, literally from opposite ends of a country, come together and form the invisible foundation of a cuisine.
Right. And to me, that was so fascinating. And I loved how Chef says in the movie, you wanted to do local. And he's like, that's a little tricky to do in Tokyo. So you decided for Japan to be your version of local. Literally like to take ingredients from the very two farthest points in the country and bring them together to be the foundation of your cuisine. And this restaurant is really spectacular.
Right.
Yeah, so can you share with us a little bit what you're going to be making today and how we get to taste this incredible dashi?
So I don't know how many people, how much percentage of people here know about the dashi.
Let's find out. Who's familiar with it?
Oh,
Very good.
Half, at least. And
So-
for the others,
Yeah. So for the others, I would like to explain and show how to make the dashi. But it's really simple with the 2 ingredients.
Wow.
But with lots of energy and effort in it. So I would like to explain.
Into the ingredients that it's made from. It doesn't actually take a lot of work to make an amazing dashi, which you'll see.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So the first ingredient that you featured was this, the seaweed kelp.
Right. It's called kombu.
It's beautiful.
It's actually already dehydrated.
Which takes years.
Well, actually, this is sun-dried and aged for 3 years
Wow.
at a certain environment. At the storehouse, like a warehouse.
Sun-dried for 3 days
And
Yep.
then they
and then
age
transferred.
it. It's amazing.
So
Gorgeous.
fisherman needs to harvest this when the weather forecast says like the old sunny days, 3 days in a row. Otherwise, it's going to be wet in a rainfall. So it's not going to be delicious like this.
And I saw that that's only 2 months out of the year that they can even harvest it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So basically, one fisherman on a tiny boat, like maybe this big.
Yeah. Yeah. One person at a time.
Yep.
Amazing.
Go out to the sea, and then.
And is kombu everywhere? Can you just go and like rake it up, Namae-san?
Oh.
Like, can you just is it everywhere? Can you gather it, or do they have to look for it?
Yeah, actually, this is 2 years old kombu. So fisherman needs to find that exact the kombu from the ocean. So they use the kind of goggle,
Oh, I saw that. They're literally underwater with like this big.
and then laying their body down to the bottom of the boat, and then watching inside of the ocean, and then correct exactly the right kombu by hand. I mean, not by hand, but utilizing the like long
Giant fork.
A giant fork.
And they
to
twirl
scoop
it
it up.
like fettuccine off the that's
Unreal.
literally how they gather it.
Yeah.
You have to rip it off the bottom, and the way they do that is they identify the right strand of kombu, twirl it with this big fork, pluck it off, and then dump it
Throw
into
it in the boat.
One strand
Piece
at
at
a
a
time.
time.
Yeah.
It's magical.
Yeah.
I also thought it was really interesting how you talked about you have to have the water flowing in from the mountains for it to have the right nutrients and the flavor.
nourish the ocean.
It's just, you realize Mother Nature's pretty amazing. You know,
So it's a combination and collaboration with the nature inside of the ocean, but also from the mountain
yeah.
that nourish the kombu
Wow.
itself. But also the combination, like relationship with the nature to the human being, then and also the weather. So it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of the miracle products that we can get from the 100% nature, then utilizing the sunlight and dehydrate it, and then it needs to be aged at least 2 years
Right.
or maybe 3 years
Wow.
to be good.
I loved when he met. I hope I'm not giving away the film, but he met with a gentleman who does this for a living, and he said, "Do you ever think about quitting?" And he looked at him like he was crazy, and he just said, "No, this is my life, right? And it's not a glamorous life by any
actually,
means."
He's the 75 years old fisherman, but he's like not the oldest.
Yeah.
We met we
By
met
any means.
82 years old fisherman,
gosh.
still going out to the sea by
Right.
himself.
Wow.
And collect the kombu, and also the people who is treating is like average age was 92 years old. Ladies.
Wow. Amazing.
It's on the movie, so
That's incredible. That's really incredible.
Yeah.
So you find this great ingredient from the north, which is one of the 2 ingredients you have to have in dashi. And can you share with us a little bit about your journey to the south? And because
Yeah.
I found this fascinating as well.
have you seen this?
Anybody seen these fish flakes, as we probably say in America?
It's called katsuobushi. It's already been shaved from the chunk of the
gorgeous.
katsuobushi. Actually, the katsuobushi is one of maybe the most.
The Guinness Book of World Records calls it the hardest food in the world.
They knock them together as they preserve them, right? To see if it's ready. It's crazy.
The artisan knows it's ready by the percussion, not by the smell, not by the taste, but by the way they sound when they crack together. It's like
great.
little maracas, like tuck,
It's
tuck, tuck, tuck,
unbelievable.
tuck.
So the type of fish is always the same?
Yeah, it's bonito.
Bonito. So
So-
we say bonito flakes. Is that something different than this, or is that
That's
the
that.
Yeah.
same? It's interchangeable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bonito needs to be big as like 6 to 8 kilogram, like
Right.
big this.
Wow.
Then they need to be nicely filleted and then poached or boiled
Yep.
over 90 or 100 minutes
Wow.
first, and then debone it, like take off the tiny bones. Then they smoke that fillet, the
Okay.
boiled fillet, for about 30 days.
Wow. Just a little bit of smoke
1
flavor
month.
in that. We smoked something for 3 minutes yesterday.
We smoked fish for 5
Right.
minutes yesterday.
Yeah, right?
30 days.
And so
30
now,
days.
Oh, 30 days. Okay. So the amount of flavor you're getting from that is
Yeah,
extraordinary.
in the process of the smoking,
Right.
it hydrated, it smoked it, and then it killed the bacteria. So it will be like pretty hard one, but still, there's a water inside.
Right.
So they scrape off the surface
Right.
of the smoked side.
Okay.
And they put some specific mold.
Yeah.
Inoculate the mold.
Right.
And then let it grow. So that mold will grow their root inside of the bonito, and then extract the moisture out of it.
Oh, that's why. Okay, so that's how it starts to harden.
Yeah, exactly.
Further hardened.
Do you need a martini to wash down the
Yeah.
bonito? The look on Eric's face
No,
was
no,
a
no.
little
I
bit-
mean, I need a refreshment, but actually, well, we're going to get to the
We're going to get to the,
combo,
to
but
the
it is a nice
alcohol
combo.
part of this. Exactly. So
After inoculated, they put outside under the sunlight again, and then dry it, and then take off the first mold, and then spray second mold,
wow.
and then keep it grow, and then sun dry, and like 3 times
All
to 5
over
times.
again.
About like it takes at least 8 months
Unbelievable.
to 1 year
Right.
to get that just chunk of the fillet.
It's unbelievable.
So I think like this, that's all amazing,
Right.
And all of that effort goes into 2 ingredients that, if you just look at it like, oh, this is just
It's
dry
just-
seaweed, yeah,
right.
like,
Wouldn't even think twice.
you wouldn't think twice, no. And I think what we're going to see and taste is in 30 minutes, all of that effort sort of extracts itself into this broth, and you get something
Magical.
almost transcendent, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely magical. So I
And it's
can't.
so easy to make.
Which is crazy, right? They're doing all the work for us.
Exactly.
It probably doesn't hurt to have you as the chef bringing it to life, because as I was
No.
watching the food that you're creating with it, it looks unreal. I would love to visit your restaurant. But while we bring this to life with Truly, you're just going to be adding water to the pot to start it.
There is actually one other consideration of dashi,
Water.
water, and not just any water.
Right. So what are we using, and what do
Yeah.
you prefer, chef?
Well,
Eric, take it away.
sure.
Not like your world too.
I'm the kind of person who just, if I'm making a stock, like I'll just open the faucet, pour water over the chicken,
Me too.
boil it, strain it, what have you. And that works. That works really well.
Sure.
But there is something very interesting about about the flavor compounds in both katsuobushi and kombu, the umami that really only gets released well in soft water, soft volcanic water.
Oh, here we're talking.
And therefore, you know, for a long time, the best dashi you would try would be in Japan because all of their water
because of the water.
Because of the water, exactly, and of course the ingredients.
Okay.
And Namae remembers not terribly fondly doing demos at the CIA. In which, you know, obviously they couldn't bring Japanese water, but they found that the Volvic French water was the right soft water for dashi. And yesterday, in our search for Volvic, we couldn't find any, and we realized that 1 gallon jugs of Crystal Geyser from Mount Shasta.
Isn't that interesting?
Which is also a volcano.
Well, there you go.
Is just as good.
Pretty much up the street.
Just
Couple
up the street.
hours.
Yeah,
That's
local water.
Much better than Volvic.
Says the chef.
Wow, amazing.
But I would say the from specific mountain, from the Mount Shasta.
From Mount Shasta.
Right.
Yeah, from the
That's
volcanic
amazing.
mountain. Yep.
Wow.
Anyways.
So
okay.
we're going to take that water, soft water.
So take that water and
combine
you already
it.
poured it in there.
Yeah.
With just the kombu to start?
Yep. Just keep those kombu inside of the cold water.
Okay.
And then bring it up to the heat.
Okay.
But
And while
not boiling.
not boiling.
Well, I don't know how can I convert into the Fahrenheit, but
Just
it's
use Celsius. Nobody will understand. But we'll all nod and-
No one will
so
know.
bring it up to the 70 degrees
Got
Celsius.
it. Someone can translate that on their
So you
phones
can
to what it is Fahrenheit. 70
convert
degrees
into-
Celsius. And then, okay,
and
great.
keep that temperature up like 30 minutes to 1 hour.
And you extract a lot of the flavor that
Yeah.
way. Okay. And then you'll add the...
Yeah. After that, we take off the kombu. Actually, this is boiled kombu.
What it
So
looks like, okay.
It used to be like this, tiny, skinny.
Yep.
But it goes up like this.
Wow. Incredible.
So-
I can't wait to see the finished product. So while we're waiting for that to heat up, I do think it's really interesting because Caley's world here in Alameda with Hangar 1, there are so many similarities in that you're working with something and creating a product that's very local. Can you share with us a little bit? And I don't know if any of you had a chance to see even that she's doing this vodka from rosé flavored vodka. So Caley, I'd love for you to share your story behind this.
Yeah, I definitely thought this film was really inspirational because I could draw a lot of parallels in this to what we do at Hangar 1. So at Hangar 1, we make vodka using California wine grapes and Midwestern grains. So we're working with
I had no idea.
local farmers to source California wine grapes that we're then distilling into this really spectacular product that then becomes the basis for bartenders to make wonderful cocktails. So it's sort of a really great parallel to the dashi, where they're working with these great artisans to make a base ingredient that then becomes beautiful cuisine.
It's true.
Yeah, and not only that, but with the rosé vodka, we blend in rosé wine, but we also have a line of flavored vodkas that we make using fresh produce from local farmers. So our local farmers and artisans are an unending source of inspiration for me as we're creating and distilling these vodkas. And watching this film, I totally was able to identify with Namae because meeting those artisans is such a powerful thing and can really sort of influence your process when you're creating with the things that they make.
And you really are creating a product that's the foundation for so many things. What did you just say when I asked her if she was the one making the cocktails today? And this was her response.
Yes, people always ask me to make cocktails. They're like, oh, the Hangar 1 distiller's coming. Can she make us drinks? And I'm like, guys, I'm a distiller, not a bartender. And I think that it's very similar to like asking a butcher to grill the perfect steak, I'm great at making the base material, but that's really where my expertise lies. So then leaning into the cocktail part, I'd rather enjoy someone else's spectacular work.
So they asked the filmmaker to come up with a cocktail.
So they asked the filmmaker to do
Naturally.
it instead. Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Your cookbook
Jack of all
photography
trades.
now.
They're just assuming as you were on this great adventure
Yeah.
together that you were drinking as well, and that there's something to pair.
Yes, we Nombe style. We drank a lot. Yeah.
I
And
am
and
curious.
as people are getting dashi, and I think it is so people can enjoy it like now. Maybe we should mention a little bit of what's in front of people.
Yes,
And
please.
encourage them to number one, try the dashi in front of you in the little cup.
By itself.
And then there's a traditional use of dashi and a non-traditional use of dashi.
Okay.
So maybe, Namae, will you maybe describe the traditional use of dashi?
Yeah, this is the very traditional use of dashi that we boil the udon noodle, like a wheat noodle, then finish with the dashi and soy sauce,
right,
and a tiny bit of mirin, which is the rice wine sweetener.
Yeah.
So we put some mirin and soy into that bowl, and then just right after you would taste the dashi itself, and then pour over onto the noodle.
Onto the udon.
So in the noodle bowl, there's shallots and ginger and matsutake mushroom.
So many aromatics and so much flavor. So now I'm understanding why too the dashi is just meant to complement all of those incredible flavors.
Yeah, it's just the three ingredients.
With the water.
and kombu and katsuobushi. That's it. Yeah. That's the element, and that's the foundation of Japanese cuisine. We use it for like miso soup. We use it for shabu shabu. We use it for braised meat and fish, and we use it only to drink it itself. Right. So we use a lot.
Amazing. Yeah. What do you think? Has everybody had a chance to try it? Delicious. Isn't it incredible that something so simple, but you understand when you taste it how all of that hard work went into it. I think you taste it. You truly taste it.
Yeah.
I'm also curious who did decide to put the dirty martini with
you
this?
Asked the filmmaker to make a cocktail.
I'm looking at you now. I need to understand. And how do you think about pairing these things?
I think I was. We were asked, what's a pairing for dashi, and there really isn't necessarily a pairing for dashi, but there are so many uses for dashi outside of the sort of the traditional uses that Namae mentioned, and dashi adds this kind of like almost invisible unctuousness to something,
right?
And so with that you mentioned that Hangar 1 was one of your partners, and I was like thinking, okay, we can use dashi in a vodka cocktail, I think, and what better cocktail to kind of tweak than a martini?
I love that.
You have martinis that are shaken, not stirred. You have dirty martinis. You can add a little bit of extra dry vermouth and have a wet martini.
Right.
And I was like, let's make a a deep martini.
Okay, you're close.
Yeah.
You're close.
I missed my punchline. So add a little bit of, a dash of dashi. We'll taste the martini, add a dash of dashi, and then maybe add another dash of dashi.
And see what you think.
You're going to get something that's dirty and deep.
And remarkable.
Yeah, I'm very, actually, it was an idea that I hadn't tried until 10 minutes ago. I'm really glad
suiting you well. It's definitely suiting you well. That's amazing. So getting back to the dashi itself, when you were to heat it up, so in real life we would wait at least 30 minutes.
Yep.
Are you looking for a certain color, or is it truly just to get all of that flavor extracted?
I always taste it itself, and then make sure if the umami from the kombu is coming out.
We're really throwing you a curveball by having no tasting spoons here. So again, we'll just pretend. So, and luckily, they've got the real thing here.
Now, this cooking demo, we cannot wait for 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm gonna cut short and then
delightful.
Take out the seaweed.
Okay. Now, is this something, chef, that you make in your restaurant every day, or can you make it ahead of time? And
every day.
Every day.
The fresh dashi is very, very important.
Okay. And how long will you use it all that day, or can it?
Yeah, or maybe we can freeze it in a freezer, and then whenever you need it, we can
just pull a little bit out
into the pot and then boil it again. But ideally, we would like to have a fresh kombu, or even the second technique is that we can soak the kombu into the water overnight.
Oh,
so
wow.
You don't have to cook it.
You just let it sit. Do you start it in hot water, or you just put it in cool water and let it
soak?
soak?
And keep it in the refrigerator.
Oh, that's interesting and much easier. I'm thinking how any of us would be able to take a 2 Michelin-starred restaurant experience and bring it into our own homes. Now you're speaking my language. So that's happened, and now what do you do with the fish?
As the water boiling up.
Yeah.
it's not boiling, but the
Okay, we're pretending. We're okay with that.
Yeah.
Everyone's had their martini.
I cut the heat off. And then put the katsuobushi in it.
It's so concentrated. The flavor is so concentrated. I wonder how much fish that is in terms of the the shavings. Like half a fish? I don't even know. When you look at it,
feel this. I mean, this is
so light.
It's so light.
It's magical.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like snow. Wow. So not even that much.
So this flake of the katsuobushi is naturally sinking down as you cook, keep cooking. And then once the katsuobushi is going down to the bottom of the pan, we can strain it.
Oh, that's how you know.
Right. So we can use the paper towel.
Okay. Oh, good trick. Any of us can do this at home.
Yeah.
Now, Chef, before you opened this restaurant, were you using this as inspiration in any of or did you decide Dashi was going to be the fundamentals for this restaurant? Because I know with your French background.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I was trained by the French chef.
Yeah, Michel Bras?
Yeah, Michel Bras.
Wow.
So,
I mean, incredible. We're lucky.
But I was really lucky because he was always giving us a big question, like, why do you guys, Japanese people, come to France and try to learn the French food culture, even if you have a great Japanese culture?
Right.
And I think was like, yeah, that's a big question.
That's a big question. Why?
Well,
and then how do you translate it back into your world?
Well, even Michel Bras is, of course, the French people, but he was not trained under any grand chef or a traditional French cuisine or haute cuisine.
Right.
So he's kind of self-taught chef, and he always source every ingredient from the locals.
Right.
Plus from his journey.
Okay.
So he traveled like South America,
everywhere,
or Southeast Asia, Japan,
right,
the Africa.
Wow.
So every time he travels, he bring back his own experience to his cuisine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the how you say, hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid, exactly. Why is his English as good as anybody's here? Not only do you cook beautiful food, he's having this incredibly intricate conversation up here.
I'm very shy right now.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
So yeah, it's hybrid with the super local way of cooking with his own personal journey.
So you've kind of done the same thing by doing this in Tokyo with your influences.
After I came back from Europe, because if I go out of Japan, then people are very interested in the things in Japan.
Right.
So they ask me the many questions, like many specific questions.
Right.
But somehow, sometimes I cannot answer the proper answer.
Yeah.
So after I came back from Europe and I tried to study again what's these things.
Right.
So that's the reason why I needed to see the people and then I need to learn directly from the producer. So that's the beginning of the Dashi journey.
That's amazing, and it was so beautifully told. So as he strains this too, I do want to ask what you all think of the combination of these two things together. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of how the vegetal flavors from the olive and that sort of like savory salinity comes in to make a great pairing with the notes from the dashi. And I think it's fascinating that both vodka and dashi are more water than the other ingredients, but we're getting all this really crazy complexity by just adding this little bit of subtlety in there to make such a spectacular cocktail.
It's such a great point you brought up because I imagine water is a huge part of what you do as well.
Yeah, vodka at 80 proof is 60% water, so water definitely influences our choices. It's fascinating to hear you guys talk about the volcanic water. We actually use deionized water for our vodkas because it's so neutral. We want to let our ingredients shine. However, we do make a vodka by collecting San Francisco's fog, and that's
fog.
An opportunity.
Did you hear that? She told me this today and said, yes, we've got vodka by collecting fog, just like Miner collects wild yeast.
Totally.
It's fascinating.
Yeah,
so truly.
It's a great opportunity for us to really be able to taste the terroir of our area through this really non-traditional ingredient. And, even another great parallel, you guys were talking talking about the flavor from the ocean, and we get a little bit of that through the fog, that minerality and salinity. And I'd really like to taste this Dashi martini with the fog vodka. I think it'd be spectacular.
I think Eric's created magic. You didn't know it.
There's a lot of, now that I hear you talk about vodka, I think kind of in the same way that Dashi is an invisible foundation of a cuisine that frankly doesn't get a lot of respect or attention, which I think is actually why we made this film.
Yes.
That was Namae's intention, was to really, get people to see Dashi in a new way. I think vodka itself is also an invisible foundation of cocktails that doesn't get a lot of respect.
Yeah, people think it's odorless and flavorless and something you add for alcohol, and it's like, no, it's this incredibly difficult to make complex thing, and to have this opportunity to really talk about it in this way is fun.
To me, that's wonderful.
No, I think, and I wanted to ask what was next, because I think for you in your world, Caley, this blew me away. And I've started to see other vodkas, like I've seen vodkas that are all produced from grapes, and you're saying how you've got this beautiful combination of grains from the Midwest and grapes from here. But what's next for you in terms of your experimenting?
Well, so we're always working on new things. I'm endlessly inspired by California. I mean, it's so beautiful that we're in this state that has such a huge bounty of agriculture year-round. Everything from wine through to produce is fascinating. So we're going to have some pretty exciting announcements in the vodka realm and perhaps beyond in 2019.
I like the perhaps beyond.
Yes. I was just telling you earlier that I'm so excited to wine taste, because even that's so inspirational to me. So we're always sort of playing around, and having this wonderful opportunity to interact with chefs even helps to further inspire me to explore new ingredients and new ways to bring out sort of those really interesting complex flavors that the world offers through the idiom of spirits.
It's through the idiom of spirits. I love that. And if you all have time to relax into the afternoon too, we're making a bunch of Hangar One's making blended cocktails back here for you with just incredible ingredients. So it's really fun to actually try these different things with a beautiful product to start.
Yeah, definitely. Come have a taste of California.
Yeah,
in the back, have a cocktail.
Exactly. Now we know how much love goes into it and how much thought, which is amazing. So here you have your dashi.
Yeah, it's really simple. Just water again, and kombu and katsuobushi. There's just 3 elements and 3 ingredients.
Amazing.
But also so deep and so complex in the flavor, and then also so satisfying savoriness.
Right.
Because we needed this thing. In the history of Japan, we are not allowed to eat any meat for over 1,200 years.
I had no idea.
From
You're kidding.
7th century to the 19th century.
Fish, yes.
The only we can rely on is that the seafood and fish, like the clams and those seaweed, and so that's a kind of a substitution for like craving for the meat and eating the meat, like chicken, or like maybe you would find the same satisfaction as you drink the chicken consomme or like a meat broth, like bone broth, in a different flavor.
Right.
So it just needed that for our satisfaction and also for our nutrients.
Isn't it incredible?
And if you look at the economy of ingredients to get that savory unctuousness, we used how many grams of material?
Just 20 gram of kombu for 1 liter of water.
Did I see
Compare that to a veal stock or a chicken stock, where you need pounds and pounds of bones and meat to get a similar experience out of a broth.
Did I see that you said it equates to 40 cents a bowl? Somewhere I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
Maybe I just read that it's
40 yen,
40 cents to create,
40
which is just
35, 40 cents.
Right, which is amazing, especially when we can now have an appreciation for how much work went into it when you see your film.
Yeah, that's the reason why people doesn't care much about it.
Right.
Because it's in a really, it's really common. It's everywhere in the supermarket or even in the convenience store. So people just don't care about the crafts.
Right.
But there's lots of effort behind that. So, and also the fishermen and the craftsmen are cut it.
Oh my gosh! A certain way.
In the market system, so they don't know who they are selling, or they don't know who who are enjoying their products.
Right.
So
we are.
exactly.
We definitely are. Before I ask them a couple other questions, does anybody else have questions for this incredible panel up here today? It can be about food. It can be about drink. Do we say? Oh, I see one. Yes.
Fish water.
What's the portion of the seaweed to the fish in the recipe?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 liter, 1 kilo of water plus
1 kilo water. Okay.
20 gram of kombu seaweed.
We do need to translate this. 20 grams.
Plus 15 gram of katsuobushi.
Okay,
like
so-
one grab.
Okay.
Just one grab.
We can do it by hand. Exactly. We'll do that. 20 grams of the kombu, 15 of the fish,
So
and
in
a
terms
liter
of
of water.
weight, it's like 3% of the weight of the water.
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
next to nothing.
That is next to nothing for all of that flavor.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Any other questions? Yes. Good.
So it sounds like the effort that goes into harvesting the seaweed and producing those fish flakes is a lot of effort. Are those very expensive ingredients to procure? Are they so common that they're inexpensive? And how is that possible?
Actually, this is a really good question, but actually the price of the kombu, depending on the quality and also the terroir, some people might really conscious about where it comes from. And also this kombu is from Rebun Island. This is the northernmost part of the Japan, and specific area called Kafuka. So some people would think heavily on about the terroir, and also this katsuobushi. These days, like a big company can make the katsuobushi with the tiny bonito, because using the tiny bonito makes the process shorter.
Right.
But
Cutting corners, though.
yeah, but if you catch the smaller fishes, it will how you say
Not sustainable.
Not sustainable.
and also
Got it.
for
And
the
it will
livestock.
affect the flavor ultimately too, won't it? Yeah, definitely affect the flavor.
What you're tasting is kind of the the Napa Valley of
Vintage.
the Grand Cru of kombu and katsuobushi.
Yeah.
But there is a range of qualities and of prices. But even the Grand Cru of these ingredients is still like kind of dirt cheap.
30.
30
Wow.
cents
30 cents.
for a bowl.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
This is the most expensive one.
Yeah.
Remarkable. I love it. It looked like we had one other question. Yes. For Caley. Uh-huh. Can she share with us what
Yeah.
two vodkas these are?
So these are 2 of, I believe, 9 total offerings that we have
Wow.
for vodkas. This is our straight vodka and our flagship. It's a plain vodka, but in my opinion, it's anything but plain. It's the one that's made from distilling California wine grapes and blending that with a vodka distilled from Midwestern grains. I actually started my career in whiskey, and so drinking spirits straight is 100% my jam, but they have to be complex and interesting. And so this is what really drew me to Hangar One, is that the distilled wine grape profile adds a lot of floral notes and a round mouthfeel and a real big amount of intrigue to the vodka, which makes it spectacular by itself. And obviously, if it's good that way, it's going to be wonderful in a cocktail. But this has really formed the basis for a lot of the things that we do now, because that grape profile inspires me so much. And coming to California from Colorado and from whiskey, I was immediately drawn to wine culture. So being able to be in wine country for me is ultimately inspirational and amazing. And the more that I dove into our relationships with our winemakers and our grape growers, I realized that as we're distilling the wine, we're getting really spectacular flavor notes, but we're also losing a little bit of the complexity that we all know exists in wine. So I wanted to bring that back into the vodka somehow to create a totally new expression, and that's where this vodka came from. This is our rosé vodka, and it's actually made from blending the straight with our own rosé blend, so that you can get a little bit of those like fruit notes, some of the more like tart berry berry, dried fruit notes that we lose during the distillation process. So it's a really spectacular way to sort of see where our ingredients come from in a really wonderful finished product.
I can't wait to try it. And now, can we call you a winemaker as well? I feel like wait a minute, you're doing two things here, Caley. That's pretty spectacular, though. I can't wait to try it. Yeah, thanks for sharing it with us. And before we let you guys go, I'm so curious. The film, has anybody seen it yet? Oh, you did get to see it. Pretty amazing, right? Yes, question?
I just want to say that I saw the film and it was fabulous. And now I want Tokyo's on the top of my list.
Me too,
Thank
to
you.
visit.
And having the Dashi this right now, when I sipped it on its own, I felt like I was drinking like fresh ocean water. It was
Oh, that's so nice.
both had the opportunity of meeting these fine gentlemen last night, so it's just a magical time to see the film.
Thank you.
And to just be inspired by that.
Right.
Even last night, and a great time at the party, and then to see you guys today. I'm on cloud nine.
Oh, we're so happy to
Thank you.
have
We are
you
too.
here. Isn't that
We are
so
too.
nice? And all I wanted to ask the two of you, I mean, you've done incredible things and you're both doing amazing things in your career. Are there any more plans for you to work together or tell any other stories together?
Listen, if Namae calls, I say yes.
You say yes.
Yeah.
It's good to
and
know.
if I call, it seems like Namae says yes. He's
So
here. You know,
it's a match made in heaven.
We're really thrilled to be here. We have big plans for this film. I think the target audience is Japan.
Oh, great.
And kind of, our idea was to sort of do the festival circuit in the United States, get some laurels, and go to Japan. So, we entered this into like 15 film festivals.
Wow.
And Dashi got accepted by only one, which is Napa Valley. So we're having our premiere here. We're very, very grateful
lucky
to Napa
are we?
Valley. Very grateful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have good taste here.
Yeah, you do.
We have very
You
good
do.
taste
You do.
here.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, we're really happy to be able to start this journey with you. And I
Thank
just
you.
want to thank you both and Caley for being here today and sharing your gorgeous story and
Thank you
love
so
of
much.
your craft with all of us.
Thank you.
So
having us.
I also want to thank our incredible sponsors who make all of this possible, including you all at Hangar One. But everybody, Paula LeDuc Catering is the group who's been cooking every single demo for this, and we're so grateful. And Monogram and Cuisinart and Whole Foods Market. We're so great. And I don't know, Caley Shoemaker, whose space this is, we're so grateful to have her opening this up to us as well. So I hope you'll enjoy everything as you leave through the back. Glenfiddich's got a great tasting going. Of course, Hangar One here. So thank you for spending part of your afternoon with us. And thanks to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We so appreciate it. Thank you very much. So lucky to have you. Yeah, we really loved it. Thank you, Caley.